I just started this up. You hear it's making that rattling sound a little bit, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. And there it shut down. And then it restarted again. So that was probably just about 30 seconds into it. It shut down. And it sounds like it stopped completely. Yeah. It stopped completely. So I will probably go turn that off. Because I don't want anything bad to happen to it. Just waiting to see if it starts up again. I had a stick too. Put a stick in. It still spins freely with a stick. But it's not doing anything. And it should be on, so that was less than 5 minutes. So my air conditioner unit's been acting funny. It's been starting and stopping. This part here just gets real hot after it's been running a while. So I think it's the fan motor. So I'm going to try to change out the fan motor and the capacitor. So first thing I'm going to do, I turned off at the fuse box, but I'm also going to pull this fuse. It's a little box like this, from what I understand. These are different. Sometimes it's a switch, but this is just one we pull. Like that. And there's fuses in there. So I'm going to set that to the side. And then we'll continue on. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this panel here. So I can access the capacitor and where all the wiring is. So I unscrewed these bolts and loosened these ones, and now this is just gonna kind of slip off, I think. There we go. And I'm kind of learning as I go here. But from what I understand, this is the capacitor, and some people say that that could have a little bit of a charging even though we turned off the power, and that should be discharged. And we'll check over here where the power is coming to make sure that indeed the power is off. But we're going to basically want to disconnect. This capacitor basically runs both the fan motor and the compressor. So the way I've seen it explained is that this middle one is kind of for both with the C. And then there's some labels on it. Over on the other side it says something else that's related to the capacitor, and the other one goes to the fan motor. So I'm going to go ahead and test this guy, see if we have any current, and then I'll disconnect these wires here. I'm taking note of where they're at. I've heard it actually makes a difference if you switch even these two yellow wires around when you're hooking it back up. And I've heard you want to change this capacitor when you change out the fan motor. Alright, so I disconnected the capacitor, all the wires off there, clipped one of these clips, and then I unscrewed the bolts off of here, and all four of them, and flipped this out. Basically I had to disconnect the wires down here just so I could have a little more slack to flip that over. Now there's bolts on the other side of this. I'm going to unscrew those. But I just kind of took note of how this is on here, and so I know how to put it back together. So here we go. This is the motor, and this is what I will take into the HP place and see if we can get a new one that might work better. So I picked up a new fan and a new capacitor, but I thought I wanted to do a little test just to make sure it wasn't the capacitor. And I tried this last night. My dad thought maybe just my meter wasn't picking it up. But anyway, so let's see if I can do this with one hand. As you can see, we've got, it's hard to see, but it's not showing any reading there. That's showing very little. I'm getting nothing between the low and the common and the other ones. Whereas if I do it on there, we get all over the place. So I'm thinking I'll try changing the capacitor to see if that might be the problem. Well, I replaced the capacitor. I put the fuse back on, then the fuse in the fuse box. It took about 5 minutes, but it did come back on. And so far it seems like it's kicking off more air than it did before. I'm really wondering if it's just a capacitor, so I'm going to let it run and see what happens here. We will see. Stay tuned. Well, it's been running for about 10 minutes now, and no signs of it cutting out like it was before, so I really think it was that capacitor. So I'm going to go shut it off, shut off the power, shut off the, shut it off, pull the breaker, and tidy up the wires a little bit here and close it up. And I think we'll call it a day. We're getting cold air inside. This actually is not hot like it was even after 5 minutes the other day, so I don't know how that relates, but I suppose if the fan isn't blowing the hot air out, maybe it gets hot that way. So yeah, I think maybe I just saved $100 by not replacing that fan. It's a good thing I checked the capacitor. Alright, well, it all seemed like it was working. Ran for about 10 minutes. Now I've shut the power off again. And I just kind of tidied up, used some electrical tape because I didn't have any zip ties. And that was something the guy at the HVAC place suggested. So just use some electrical tape to tidy up the wires. I'm going to close this back up, and I think we're going to call it good unless it breaks or it doesn't work anymore. So hope this helps someone.